downfield to Watkins. Sammy Watkins for the touchdown.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Fumblerooski podcast, powered by Power 88 Dean Radio and Fans Only Sports Radio. My name is Justin Tucker, alongside my good friend CJ Medieros. CJ, how you doing today?
You know what, Justin? I'm great. I'm great. And it's not often you and I get to do an episode together. This is a special time for the Fumblerooski family.
Isn't that just nice? Oh man, it makes me feel so much better when you're around. Well, the good news is you guys have me to host. The bad news is Adam will be out tonight. We wish you the best of luck, Adam, whatever you are doing. We miss you. Hopefully you'll be back next week. But that does not mean we don't have a good show for you. This week we are talking about our top 5 edge rushers, which means there will be a lot of debate, a lot of disagreement, but a lot of nitpicky. And the Fumblerooski fan box, where we talk about with our fans about the top or their underrated edge rusher in the NFL. So without further ado, CJ, would you like to kick us off?
As a matter of fact, I would, Justin. All right. My number 5. Many will disagree with this, but I would say now Philly linebacker Hassan Reddick. Or edge rusher, linebacker, but technically an edge rusher. Now, a lot of people will say, but why? Let me tell you something. He has had 2 elite seasons, and no one talks about him. And look, just last season, 68 combined tackles and 11 sacks, and on top of that, 2 forced fumbles. So it used to be Reddick was used mostly as like an outside linebacker, off-ball kind of guy. Then they moved him to the edge in 2020 where he had 12 and a half sacks, and he burst onto the scene. And since then, he caroms from 1-year prove-it deal to 1-year prove-it deal. He has had back-to-back seasons of double-digit sacks, and there's a real chance he gets double-digit sacks again. He's currently, I think, on like a 1-year some deal with the Eagles. I could be wrong. If I am, let me know. But all I know is he does not his pay is not, does not match up to what he brings to the table. And mark my words, he's going to deserve a fat increase should he, should he get a 3rd straight double-digit sack season. What about you, Tucker?
He's on a $15 million per season deal, which also includes a $30 million fully guaranteed.
Wait, is he? Oh, well, good. I'm glad. Finally, he's got his money.
He did make his money according to NBCSports.com. So congratulations to him, and congratulations to the Eagles.
You know what? I'm sorry, guys. I could have sworn because I know he had like 2 straight prove-it deals, and now he's finally got his money. Good. Yeah. But still, it totally is, like I said, 68 tackles last season and 11 sacks. Enough said.
My thing is, I'm not sure if he's top 5 based upon the other guys that are on my list, but I could see him having top 5 production on that defensive line with Philly. Because now that I'm thinking about it, you got Javon Hargraves, Fletcher Cox, and Jordan Davis on that line as well.
Yeah.
I was just thinking off of the player, but if we're also doing like structuring and like everything else around him, that's actually pretty damn good. That's actually
yeah, exactly. Like I said, back-to-back seasons of double-digit sacks. One with Arizona, one with Carolina.
Yeah, and hopefully he will get one-on-one attention because I think that's how they're trying to line up their defense. Because I think they're going to have to put 2 people on Jordan Davis, which again would put like one-on-ones to Fletcher Cox or Javon Hargraves, which is ridiculous. But at first I was shocked, but that's actually a solid pick. Now, before I go, I just wanted to let everybody know that this was a difficult thing to create.
Yeah.
As they can attest. There is way too many good pass rushers out there that can do a myriad of things. And there's only a few like freaks that can do every single thing. So for my number 5 is Micah Parsons.
You know something? I thought of putting him, and I just want to hijack this real quick to say I really thought about it, but I put him in my top 5 linebackers, so I didn't know if I was going to like put it
That's
twice. I was thinking about off-ball guys, so
Yeah,
what is your thing? You take it away, man.
that's my thing. The reason I put him at 5 is because I don't know what the Cowboys will do with him, whether they'll continually move him around the line or they'll just stick him at edge and keep him there. If they keep him at edge and he can consistently do this, he's going to be top 3 sooner or later. He is a freak. He is unbelievable. But the way the Cowboys use him, I think that might hamper his production a little bit, which is why he'll be 5. As a rookie, he came in and did everything that you asked him to do and then some. He was dominant on that Cowboys defense, and he made it look more respectable than it actually is, considering the fact that their only other, I want to say, Pro Bowl caliber player on that defense is Trayvon Diggs, who had 11 interceptions. Now, his coverage skills are up for debate, but
didn't he give up like over 1,000 yards too?
I believe so. So it wasn't a good year for a coverage basis, but for a turnover basis, it was a great year for him. So congratulations to him. But he is, without a doubt, one of the best players in the NFL last year. And hopefully he can keep on that production in year 2 and not have a sophomore slump. But yeah, he's been playing pretty ridiculous and out of his mind when on that edge. So hopefully the Cowboys can actually be intelligent about this and keep him there and not move him. But yeah, he's
Cowboys and intelligence don't mix. We'll see.
Tell me about it. But hey, we them boys, we going to the Super Bowl.
This year's our year for like the last 20 years.
25. It's 25 going on 26.
Hey, a broken clock is right twice a day. Maybe they're right this year. I don't know.
Probably.
Heck, Philly might take the division for all we know.
Yeah, I could see that happening because no one wins like back to back. All right, so who's your number 4?
All right, coming in at number 4, I'm going to put old reliable Cam Jordan from the New Orleans Saints. Now, Cam Jordan is insane, even at the ripe old age of like he's over 30. I believe 32. But yeah, this is usually when they start declining. Not so. Now, he didn't really have a good 2020 season where he only notched 7.5 sacks, so like 51 tackles. Yeah, not so this year. 59 tackles and 12.5 sacks at age 32. That is insane. Not to mention, on the line, what they don't talk about him is that he's kind of reminds me of J.J. Watt in the sense how he can knock down balls at the line of scrimmage. Like J.J. Watt used to do that a lot. Last year, he had 6 passes deflected at the line. That is insane. And 2 forced fumbles to boot. And he's like this really big-bodied presence that can also stuff the run if need be. He's good at sniffing out the run, and he's shown that he can consistently get to the quarterback. This guy, in my eyes, has to be at least a slam dunk, for top 5. All reliable, he gets it done, great in the pass, great in the run, and he's a tackling machine. And like I said, there's always that threat of him knocking down balls at the line. So you can, even as old age, I say old, like for football, he's still got a lot left in the tank, and he can pretty much literally do anything you ask him to.
Yeah, Cameron Jordan was a solid pick. His age may be questionable, but again, if he can continue to perform at that high of a level,
I'm just saying, age 32 season, 12.5 sacks. That is nothing to sneeze at, really.
Nothing at all. I wish I had that production on my line, but that's not the case there.
Well, come on, man. You're the best linebacker in the NCAA. Don't get it twisted.
All right, so my number 4, and it's between the 2 brothers. It's basically who do you want? It's between the Bosa brothers, and I went with Nick. But if you told me Joey, I wouldn't be upset with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I went with Nick because I believe he had the better season of the 2, and his team went further than Joey's team. But basically, they're like a carbon copy of each other, except that I think Nick might be a little more like stronger than him. I saw the way he picked up the Cowboys' right tackle. It escapes my mind. During the playoffs against the
Collins,
Lyle Collins. He picked him up off the ground and treated him like a little kid. And I was like,
yes, sir.
I was like, oh my God, he is giving Dak Prescott hell. And this right tackle, who's a very good right tackle when healthy, can't stop him. And so I thought he was going to struggle with like elite right tackles. No, he gives them trouble just like his big brother does. And they both have had stellar careers, but I think just based off of this year, I believe Nick Bosa had the better season.
Huh. Yeah, well, I need to fast forward to my number 3 because ironically it was Nick Bosa. It's funny how these things shake out, isn't it? And I just love, let me just say, I love how like we don't know what each other's lists are going in, so we can have fun little surprises like this. But with Nick Bosa, for me, I like stats and stuff. He had a career high 4 forced fumbles, 15 and a half sacks, 40 solo tackles, 52 combined, and 21 tackles for loss, and 32 quarterback hits, all of which were career highs. This is his career high in his third year. And keep in mind, no one really knew what he was going to be because he was coming off, I believe, a torn ACL.
Yep, came off a torn ACL.
Yeah, and didn't play for he only played like 1 or 2 games last season. And now he comes out like the best form of himself, that we've ever seen. And there's no reason to believe he's going to slow as we progress into next season.
Yeah, that he did all that off a torn ACL. And this is a guy, and I'm happy with his production because he's more of a technician than a freak. But when he gets it right, oh boy, that he is a problem, which is why I like to see his tape because he has phenomenal tape. But my number 3 guy, who had a bounce back year and was phenomenal for a playoff caliber defense, Max Crosby.
Explain.
When I saw Max Crosby last year, I wasn't worried about it because I thought his rookie year was just an aberration because he outdid the number 4 overall pick, Cleveland Farrell. And he had like 10 and a half sacks when Cleo Farrell did not. And then the next year he had I want to say 5 sacks. But over the next year
I have his stats in front of me. The season after his rookie year, he had 7.
7? All right. So clearly a downgrade, but So coming into this year, he felt like he had to make a change. So I want to say he checked into a rehab facility and got clean. He was like, all right, I know what I need to do and I want to get focused and I want to commit myself to the game. And he did that. And it might be a little bit based on what I saw week 1. Oh my God, he was all over the place. He gave Villanueva hell. He hit him with a spin so bad, he put him to the ground. I was like, can you block this guy? Every time I saw Lamar Jackson trying to make a play, it was Max Crosby stopping it. And it was like, no, please don't. And he was the one that had the forced fumble against Lamar. And I was like, yep, we lost the game there. And so throughout the whole season, I believe he had the most pressures throughout any other edge rusher. And so when I look at that, I was like, he's clearly getting there. He may not be always finishing, but he's clearly giving them pressures. The quarterback is just getting them away.
Yeah. That's the thing. You gotta, once you're there, you kind of got to seal the deal.
Yeah.
He had 56 tackles. That's total. It's a career high. But he had 30 quarterback hits, but only 8 sacks. You have to start converting those pressures into sacks, which is one of the reasons why I didn't put him in my top 5. I would give him an honorable mention, but I mean, I feel like next year, if he keeps going, then we're probably going to have to.
Yeah, I mean, Chandler Jones is going to be on his team next year. I think he will start to convert some.
Yeah, especially because Jones is likely going to get double teamed every play.
Yeah, and do you really want to deal with Chandler Jones or Max Crosby having a one-on-one?
No. Yeah, that AFC West is going to be really scary.
It's stacked to the gills.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! All right, so who's your number 2?
Now my number 2 for a fellow player in the AFC North, for old Tucker's Ravens, I'm going to put Myles Garrett.
Same. He's my number 2.
Awesome. So let's dive into this together. Myles Garrett is a physical freak. This guy is insane. 51 total tackles and 16 sacks. He's everywhere. He stops the run. He can disrupt passing. He forces fumbles, and he's one of the hardest hitters in the league. And he's impossible to block. His footwork is great. His technique is great. Bull rush, swim move, you name it. This guy is borderline unstoppable, except for one. And so, Justin, what do you think about old Myles Garrett?
Almost unstoppable to block. My team has played against him twice a year. I don't know how we can't do it. We can't stop this guy. We put two guys on him. He splits the difference and gets to Lamar Jackson almost like that. Lamar has to run for his life almost every play. God help us if he lines up on the right side, because Villanueva just couldn't block anybody last year, and he wasn't going to block Myles Garrett because most of the league can't block him. I think the only one that can do it is, I want to say, Trent Williams, because he's a freak.
Oh yeah, Trent Williams is arguably a future Hall of Famer.
If he wins a ring, I think it's
if he is, but I mean he's going to go there eventually. He's one of the best left tackles ever.
Yeah, he was a part of that legendary 2011 draft class too.
Yeah,
that was. Talk about the freaks in that one.
And see, here's the thing with Myles Garrett for me.
Mm-hmm.
He has 4 straight seasons of double-digit sacks. 13 and a half, 10, 12, and now 16.
Mm-hmm.
He racks up tackles upon tackles every year, forces a few fumbles every year, and he's getting to the quarterback, like 33 quarterback hits last season. Now, quarterback hits for me are like a really intangible stat. Because, well, technically they are counted. You don't really know the impact it has on the game, but it does because you're getting there and you are rattling the quarterback. And like I said, Myles Garrett's one of the hardest hitters in the league. And he's just so unblockable, like no matter what anyone does.
Yeah, you have to double team him every play, which gives his other crime partner, Jadeveon Clowney, 1-on-1s. So that's how you know he's a beast. 16 sacks will tell you that. And if it was any other year, he would probably be our number one. But unfortunately, there's another guy in the same division that just had a better season than him.
Yeah. You want me to announce it or should I?
You can announce it.
All right. It is, like you said, from the same division, TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep. Oh, boy, this guy... Picture everything we just said about Myles Garrett, but amp it up to 11.
Yeah,
this guy is insane. He tackles more. He hits just as hard. He gets to the quarterback more frequently, and he forces more fumbles. He deflects more passes, and you can drop him out in coverage because he's got 4 career interceptions. Like this guy can quite literally do it all. When last year he had 22 and a half sacks, tying the all-time sack record. And I don't want to hear that gabagool about, oh, yeah, but it was an expanded season. He missed a game. Yeah, so that means he still played a regular 16 games. Checkmate, Watt haters. And I mean, Tucker, I know you don't like me saying this because he's also from the AFC North, but he's insane. I mean, the guy is like, he's likely going to end up being better than his brother. And we all remember what a beast J.J. Watt was in his prime. But TJ is already there in my eyes.
He's a beast, but J.J. Watt had like 3 seasons of like 20-plus sacks.
Yeah, well, we're getting there now. He just had it. And like you said, yeah, and look, here's the thing. He was in the same draft class as Myles Garrett, but TJ Watt, his first season, 7 sacks, not too shabby, but then 13, 14 and a half, 15, and then 22 and a half. Yep. This guy is showing no signs of stopping. And like I said, what sets it apart for me is that you can put him anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is a problem. All that we said about Myles Garrett equated to him and equate that TJ Watt is better in coverage than him. He was the defensive player of the year for a reason. 22 and a half sacks can tell you, he can get to the quarterback, no problem. Oh my God. I'm so happy he didn't break the record on us. I would have been so pissed. When he actually got the final sack, I thought he actually did, but he was like 22 and a half. I was like, thank God. 3 seconds or less. Don't hold the ball because, we can't block him for any longer than that because he'll just get to the quarterback and break it and cost us the game. But fortunately, he didn't do that. But I hate talking about the Steelers in a positive light, but As you said, this guy is a freak of nature.
Oh, absolutely. And, son, we were talking about how stacked the AFC West was, but look at the AFC North. See, old Justin Tucker is a Ravens fan, which means twice a year he has to deal with the aforementioned TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, but also Trey Hendrickson, who's no slouch in his own right from the Cincinnati Bengals.
And then there's Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh, yeah, right. And Clowney. And also Cam Hayward, too.
And Cam. Yep, it's not easy for any of those teams. We have to face them all twice a year. So I have to see them a combined 6 times a year. Yeah, not a happy player. But hopefully our developmental outside linebackers will come in and be fine. Because hopefully I don't want David Ojabo to play this year. I wanted to sit out for
I don't think he's going to. I think you kind of draft him kind of like when the Cowboys drafted Jalen Williams. You're playing the long game with Ojabo.
Yeah. You mean Jalen Smith?
Oh, yeah, Jalen Smith. I said Jalen. Why did I say that? I meant Jalen Smith. Sorry, my brain does not want to cooperate today. But my point still stands. You're playing the long game.
Yeah, the only problem is he's a freak in his own right because apparently he's walking right now.
Yeah, hey, but just don't rush him back. That's all you can do. Don't Andrew Luck him.
Yeah, I don't want to rush him back. So hopefully we see him either November or December, and hopefully he'll be fine by then. Because the injury that he took on his pro day, I don't wish on anybody.
Yeah.
But hey, those were our top 5 outside linebackers. We are the Fumblerooski podcast, and we'll be right back.
Way down the field to Watkins. Sammy Watkins for the touchdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fumblerooski podcast. I am your wonderful host, Justin Tucker, along with my special guest and best special host, CJ Medieros.
Special guest? Come on now.
I know you're not a special.
Yeah.
But you are my one and only friend.
Appreciate it, man.
Of course. Now, it has come that time that we have our Fumblerooski fan box. See that? We put the banners up like you told us, Adam. Like All right, so during this segment, we ask you guys a question, and we want to hear from you guys. And our question of this week is, who is the most underrated outside linebacker in the NFL at this moment in time? And so...
All right, then.
Yeah, I was about to say we have Grayson Mortimer who said JPP. Is he under?
Yeah, Jason Pierre-Paul. I mean, you don't really hear about him, but he's solid.
He is solid, but he's on the free agent market.
Yeah. Wait, he's still a free agent, right? You said?
Yeah, he's a free agent.
Yeah, and I mean, last season, let's pull up his stats. 2021, 31 tackles, 2.5 sacks, bit of a step back, but he could certainly provide a boost for most lineups.
Yeah, I'm about to say it was a year removed from him causing havoc in the Super Bowl. So.
Oh yeah, like the season prior to last, he or 2 seasons ago, I should say, he had 9.5 sacks. So
Yeah. So is he underrated? I'd say it's more so of him having a down year, and he's on the I want to say the wrong side of 30.
Yes, he is. Last season was his age 32 season.
So yeah, he's on the wrong side of 30, and they saw him only have 2.5 sacks. So most of the league is probably looking at that and is like, can he actually produce? Don't get me wrong, I want him on my team, but I don't want him taking like heavy minutes away from our young ones.
That makes sense.
Yeah. CJ says Hassan Reddick.
Now, you already know how I feel about Hassan Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
He is mad underrated. He finally got paid, and he needs his props. Anything else, please, just go back, because I've already explained why he is so underrated. And yes, I do believe he is, in fact, top 5.
I'm not. Top five is to me stretching it. I understand why he feels that way. He might have a top five season coming up, but I'm not sure if he's top five in general. But
I swear, watch him like not play at all and then just completely prove me wrong. I don't want that. I want
I don't.
well, even though he's on the Eagles and I do not care for them.
We don't wish injury on anybody.
No, I wasn't.
But still, though, we wish him the best of luck. Stephen Parker said Trey Hendrickson. No,
Mr. AFC North, you wanna comment on that?
I don't know. How is he underrated? He just so happens to be in the same division as Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. I don't think he's underrated. I think he's rated just fine. He's the best third.
I mean, he was underrated, but I really don't think he is anymore. I mean, he's not the tackling machine you'd like him to be, but he's mostly a pure pass rusher. But I wouldn't call him underrated. He certainly was when he signed that contract, and everyone said it was an overpay, but he proved them wrong. So I really don't view him as underrated, really.
I'm not. I don't think he's overrated at this moment in time. I think he's rated just fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't understand. Like, where are you trying to rate him higher than where he is? Because at best, you're saying he's the third best. Because I don't think anybody would take him over Myles Garrett or TJ Watt. So I think it's just fine. Tyson Tate, a regular on the show, said Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, well, old Justin Tucker and I were talking about this before the show. And Justin, would you like to present your case?
I don't think he's underrated. I think he might be a little overrated if you think he's underrated because he hasn't played. I think that's the only reason you're saying that. If he's played and can stay healthy, then I think you would rate him higher than he would be. But the problem is his health. I don't think he's underrated.
I haven't heard many people talk about him ever. Well, not really ever, but especially now that he's gotten hurt, he's kind of fallen off the map. A lot of people call him top 5. I don't think that. But then again, I don't think many people, truly think that. So I would say he's becoming underrated because of his injuries. But if he manages to play at least 15 games next season, he'll be right back in the conversation. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I think he'll be right back in that conversation. I think he was like the fastest outside linebacker to 50 sacks ever. So
yes, he was.
So if he can just stay healthy, he'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Tyson Tate, again, I'm sensing the theme here. DJ Wonnum from Minnesota.
I believe it's Wonnum.
Yeah, Wonnum. So is he saying all of Minnesota's defensive line is underrated?
It's possible. But DJ Wonnum, he's not really known to many people. I mean, to be fair, I had to look him up. But after a really, really, really quiet 2020, and I believe Wonnum, I don't know if he was drafted or not. I think he might have been an undrafted free agent, but don't quote me on that. I'm sorry. I don't really know anything, but looking at his stats from last season, 47 tackles and 8 sacks. That is not bad for a guy you don't know about. And he's been allowed to flourish, without Danielle Hunter because, injuries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I see it is that he can be very dangerous for the Vikings. And he could definitely help take some of that pressure off of Hunter now that some scouts know what he can do.
Yeah, so hopefully Danielle Hunter doesn't have to do all the work and DJ can help him on that end. So maybe he is underrated. I'll take your word for it since I haven't seen much of DJ Wonnum. Ian Melhern says Brian Burns. I agree with this one. I think Brian Burns is really underrated.
Yep. Yeah. I'm right there with you. I have a friend also, from our college, who's a huge Brian Burns fan. And why shouldn't you be? He's had at least 50 tackles the past 2 seasons. Both past 2 seasons, 9 sacks, 4 passes deflected the last 2 seasons, 6 career forced fumbles in 3 years, and 18 quarterback hits last season. And I feel like if he was not on the Carolina Panthers, a lot of people would know more about him. Because I believe Brian Burns was a first-round pick, right?
Yeah, Brian Burns is
Yeah, and he's playing like one, and it doesn't seem like he gets that much recognition, which has to change.
But again, unless his team becomes more successful, I don't think they'll give him the recognition he deserves. But
unfortunately, that is the reality of the NFL.
Yeah, but he's very good for the Carolina Panthers. And I got to say, that last year's Carolina Panthers front seven, very good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Cowboys. That front seven was very good. But enough about me fanboying over the Carolina Panthers. Nick Norman, friend of the show, says, easily Robert Quinn, the quietest 18.5 sack season I've ever seen. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Quinn, he's a strange one for me because if you look at his career stats, the first 4 years of his career, he bursts onto the scene. Then he kind of goes quiet, few blips here and there. And then his first year in Chicago after he signed that deal, he wasn't doing too well. And then boom, 49 tackles, 18.5 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he did it, but he did. And keep in mind, he's part of the 100 sack club in case for those of you keeping track at home. Yeah, he's 101 career sacks. Like that guy, I don't know. Just he's not a guy you hear about a lot, but I don't know how to put it into words. It's like he's so sporadic in producing, and that's probably why a lot of people don't know he literally had 18.5 sacks last season. Probably why he wasn't in our top 5, because he's so random when he decides to be good or average.
Yeah. He's very good, but unfortunately he just had a very good season that happened to be with the Chicago Bears. If he was with the Dallas Cowboys, I think it would be harbored on more because it's the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Unfortunately, he was in Chicago where they didn't have much success and no one heard about him much. And they might think it's just, it's because he's next to Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack was injured for some of the season. So
yeah.
I can't recall how many games, but it's not like Khalil Mack was always there. So
yeah, and
you have to see most games.
And even still, you say it's just because of Khalil Mack. So 18.5 sacks because of Khalil Mack. Really? Is this the game we're going to play?
I would disagree with that. That just shows you how good Robert Quinn is when healthy.
Exactly.
But again, I do believe he's underrated now. I don't think he's always been, but I think he is now.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had 18.5 stats until I looked it up one time, and I was like, he had 18.5 sacks, and no one's talking about it. Jack Hartman says Clowney doesn't get as many pass rush stats, but a menace in the run game.
Yeah. And another friend in the AFC North that Tucker loves so much. But
yeah, I hate going up against him. I don't like it.
Clowney. Sorry, continue.
What you don't get in pass rushing, he gives you in run stopping ability. He just sets the edge, and there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah, like I said, 24 solo tackles, 37 combined last year, while being shuffled in and out of the lineup, and 9 sacks. So he's not a total slouch in the pass rush game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's certainly underrated. He's not really the number 1 pick that we all thought he would be, but he has certainly found his niche in this league, at least according to me. And I think he re-upped with Cleveland, no?
Yeah, he's re-upped with them too.
Yeah, so yeah, I expect him to be just as good, honestly.
Yeah, he said
especially playing alongside Garrett.
He said his main reason for coming back was because he heard Deshaun Watson was going to be there.
We're not touching that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if he had a problem with Baker or he's just that excited for Deshaun Watson to be his quarterback. Enough about that. Daryl Howell says Carl Lawson lost of the year due to injury, but can be sneaky good for the Jets. Well, it's the Jets, so
yeah. You hear about how the Jets could be really good, but yeah, he's right. He didn't play at all in 2021, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people think Carl Lawson is a lot better than he actually is. This is no knock on him, but I feel like he's a bit overhyped. He has his career high in tackles is 36, and his career high in sacks is 8.5. And for the amount of money like they gave him just for him to miss 1 year, he better come out and be a Pro Bowler. You know, because I don't think he's ever made the Pro Bowl, never been All Pro, so he better pan out. I think it's kind of like a do or die for him.
Mm-hmm.
But based on everything I said, you could call him underrated.
Yeah, and hopefully that front seven can get healthy because they just added, I want to say, Jermaine Johnson to that.
Yes, they did.
And so one could hope that along with the resurgence of Carl Lawson back into the lineup, that front seven, along with CJ Mosley and a couple others, will be menacingly, especially when you have somebody like Quentin Williams in your front seven.
Yes. Yeah. You hit the nail right on the head there. But yeah, I wasn't hating on Carl Lawson. I'm just stating the facts.
No, you would never, even though, you're a Patriots fan.
I mean, I like Carl Lawson. I mean, I don't have an issue with him. I don't really have that big of an issue with the Jets ever since Rex Ryan left. And actually, it's not true. I didn't like Adam Gase, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but you probably didn't like Adam Gase as a coach, not because you hated playing against him.
No, I never liked Adam Gase. Even as an offensive coordinator in Denver, I thought he was overrated.
Because he got a recommendation from Peyton Manning. Everybody knows Peyton Manning.
Yeah, exactly. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, Carl Lawson, this is definitely a put up or shut up year. But the potential is there. But until then, yes, I would argue that he is in fact underrated.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I'll give him that for right now because he did lose a year to injury. So we'll see. But that'll do it for us tonight. Thank you for listening to us. Be sure to tune into us live Tuesdays at 7:30 on Twitter and Facebook through Fans Only Sports. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will also also have all our episodes available on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and so much more. Also, be sure to follow our Instagram at Fumblerooski_podcast to keep up with our podcast and the latest coverage on the NFL. Otherwise, we will see you over and out.